In this video, I'm going to talk about how to write follow-up email after you get no response on your cold email campaign. Specifically, we'll tap into what matters most here. How to craft an email that's not boring, when to send a follow-up, and how many times you should follow up. And finally, how long to wait between different follow-ups. Hi guys, my name is Guillaume and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lemlist. Don't know if you heard, but the word on the street is that Lemlist is all you need to crush your cold emails, follow-ups, and play with dynamic personalization. Just saying. But I digressed. Follow-ups. Did you know that 75% of the total reply you get when doing cold email outreach will come from follow-ups? 75%. Which means that if you haven't been following up yet, you've been missing on 75% of potential business opportunity. Let's take a simple example. Let's say that you're sending emails to 100 people and that you receive 10 replies. It means that with follow-up emails, you'll be able to increase that number to 40 replies. Let's see some stats clever people put together for us so we can brainstorm around it. For instance, Yesware did a very interesting experiment where they've sent 10 follow-up emails in total and analyzed the results. Here's what they say. You can see that the reply rate was almost always in decline as the number of follow-ups increased, but in the end, you'll keep increasing your reply rates. But here's what's really interesting. They also report that 70% of salespeople stop sending emails after they receive no response to their first email. So now, when you take another look at this graph, you quickly realize how many replies Yesware got from their second email to the 10th one. Is reply rate decreasing? Sure. Can it be better? Probably. But it still beats all those salespeople who stopped sending follow-ups after a first no response. They literally left money on the table. Ecosystem, for example, reported, they say, a 13% reply rate on the fourth email, but a brilliant 27% response rate after the sixth follow-up. Amazing, right? Another interesting data point from Yesware is that 91% of time people will open your email the same day you sent it. Not surprisingly, 90% of emails that received replies were replied to within 1 day after they were opened. Now, I'm taking a pause for the cause here to bring you this important message. Stats like the ones I've outlined in the video are great to expand your knowledge, but you should not take them and execute solely based on them. There's a saying in the entrepreneur's world, be a practitioner and not a blog reader. Go and test for yourself. Take this stat with, but understand first and foremost what works for you. The numbers people share are for their audience from X year and with their way messaging. It can be for a total different category. Learn from all this, but never follow blindly. Take your own mistakes over somebody else's stats any day of the year. In a minute, I'll go over some successful email templates you can use for following up with your prospect, but first, let's have a look at how long you should wait between each follow-up. As a general rule for follow-ups, I would send my first follow-up 2 or 3 days after sending my first email. And then I will space them out between 7 to 10 days. The truth about those numbers, it depends on your target and on your market. So the best way to know what works best for you, it's really to test it again. With that said, we can finally move on to probably the most important part for you, best practices and example to crush your follow-up strategy. Let's get rolling. The first step is to stand out. The best way I know, and I've seen many Lemlist users have the same success with this strategy, is to stand out by using personalized video and images inside your email. In other words, leverage dynamic visuals at scale that make it easier for you to grab your prospect attention, as well as to have some things automated and be faster. I just want to be sure I fully explain myself here. Yes, there are parts of image and video personalization that can be done automatically and at scale, like this. But you should never try to eliminate the human touch and automate relationship. It's imperative that you understand that EQ is unscalable. Always spend time on making sure the message is fully personalized, but leverage automation to be more efficient when it comes to sending emails. People will tell you that images are spam and that they will bring you weaker performance. Man, never believe this myth. It's completely ridiculous.
But have you ever considered learning how to lie every now and then? Just a bit.
But when enough people make false promises, words stop meaning anything.
If I tell you that we've all been getting above 50% reply rates while using personalized images in the right way, like Cam did here for this example, You'll quickly realize how wrong this assumption is. You can steal the exact template from Cam from the link in the description, by the way. Quite recently, my team published a case study where we got 33% reply rate on one of our campaigns. In my opinion, images and videos provide you with an amazing opportunity to get people to engage with your message and ultimately get a reply. Second step is to personalize your emails. Personalization is a no-brainer. It needs to go beyond just using old-school tags like first name or company name. For example, our head of growth, Vuk, did a very basic but very thorough text personalization. We were doing some podcast outreach a few months ago, and what he did was went and created a standardized template and then used Lemlist to personalize one specific paragraph in every email. Now, that paragraph was unique for every single email. Results? I'm gonna let the screenshot from our September sprint do the talking. Sure, this wasn't a follow-up, but you can use the same logic to make every follow-up unique. But there's more than one way to do this. Personalization is key because it makes the email about them. People hate generic emails, and when they spot an automated template, trust me, it's only a matter of seconds before they erase your message and forget about you. Worse, they can put you in spam. Third step is to always add value. The tip kind of expands on the previous part. It's pretty simple, actually. Every email is about them. So when you do your follow-up, keep in mind how you can be of value and does everyone deserve a different follow-up. Let me explain. Take, for instance, the people who opened the first email but didn't respond. They've either read your email and aren't interested, or they might be interested but forgot to reply. Sending them a similar message or reminding them to read the previous email would be, in most cases, a mistake. Yes, you can't know for certain, but I make my bet there. But if you play around with language, A/B test different templates and make sure they understand what's in it for them, well, that's a whole different story. Fourth step is vary the size of your emails. Do size matter? I think that question has been around as long as the human can exist, and I think that people tend to have an obsession with size. If you've been reading some blog posts on the internet, you must have seen so-called experts telling you that emails perform better when they're short. But do they really?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The truth is, it depends. Having long emails will allow you to stand out, and if it's bringing value, then you'll have a much higher chance to connect with the person you're reaching out to. So make sure to always vary the size of your follow-ups to see what's working best for you. Final step, always have a clear call to action into your emails. Remember, your goal isn't here to sell your service, the goal is to get them to reply. Make them excited about what you're saying. Your target is to get that demo, that meeting. If you decide to sell in your follow-up, you're doing for it too early. With cold emails, it's not about the sprints, it's the marathons that counts. So focus on the one goal and one goal only, getting them to talk to you and don't sell. If it didn't work the first time, don't worry, just keep testing and stay focused on this goal. You'll see it will work as long as you're providing value.